7 miles south of Kuna, right along the road to Swan Falls, the cheatgrass and sagebrush aren't the only reminders of what happened here 3 decades ago. 2 names stand out on a stone monument. 2 lives lost in a cascade of catastrophe.
650 information, the wind is trying to change, so make sure you stay in the safe area.
At first it was just a small fire, and then when the winds rose, it was just like, it just took off.
The summer of 1995 was like many others.
It was kind of inevitable, things had been so hot and so dry.
But it was a late July night, unlike anything they'd ever seen.
Yeah, it is out of control.
We got approximately to Swan Falls Railroad crossing when I heard Bill say, we're surrounded by fire, our engine quit, we need help. And that was the last I heard from him.
The last words of 2 Kuna volunteer firefighters.
Not going to let us out of here, and we're surrounded by fire. The truck has been overtaken.
Will last forever for those who heard them.
Because it was purely the night from hell.
Doyle McPherson.
Dispatch request another engine company or 2 and any additional squads that are available from anywhere.
Was a volunteer captain with Kuna Fire and responsible for overseeing the new guys, Bill Buttram and Josh Oliver.
He had displayed good reasoning and good ability and desired to be a career firefighter.
Josh Oliver was just 18, but Bill Buttram was 31 and a fairly new father.
We learned how to play pinochle with Bill and his wife at the time.
Doyle remembers when they got the call that day.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Just another fire.
One of several sparked by lightning that July 28th, a Friday.
Black Friday.
Jake Putnam was a reporter at KTVB and got called in to cover them.
The problem was that was a really wet spring, and so the cheatgrass was almost up to the knees.
Jake certainly had experience reporting on fires, but he had no idea what he'd run into south of Kuna.
It was absolutely one of the scariest days that I ever worked.
According to the investigation, right around 6:30, Ada County Dispatch got a call about a lightning strike starting a fire near Swan Falls Road. The Bureau of Land Management sent 5 engines, a bulldozer, and a water tender. Just after 7, BLM requested help from the Kuna Rural Fire District. Captain McPherson jumped in brush truck 620, along with Oliver, and Buttram in the driver's seat. At 7:30, they met up with BLM personnel. 2 other Kuna volunteers, Michael Law and Robert Black in truck 622, and another water tender, about 1,000 feet from the northeast perimeter along Swan Falls Road.
And
there, Captain McPherson briefed his men.
They were to go up, join in with BLM, and they would be taking orders from them, and to stay together. I probably told them that 3 or 4 times, and you got to stay together.
He also reminded them, if there's trouble, get to a safe zone. That would be the black burned areas. Captain McPherson would stay with the water tender on Swan Falls Road. At that point, the fire was relatively small.
Well, initially they pegged it at about 80 acres maybe.
So 622 and 620, with Buttram and Oliver, worked the perimeter, slipping past 2 BLM trucks to spray water on flare-ups. The procession reached the southeast corner by about 8:15.
And they had a line around the north side of it, and the dozer was starting in on the south side, and things were going good.
And I just hear BLM on the scanner. We got a fire here, we got a fire here, we got this one knocked down.
They were able to hold the point fire to about 120 acres.
And we hear the Kuna guys on their brush truck talking back and forth, and one of them said, okay, we just about got this corner.
Right about the time Kuna's trucks 620 and 622 were backtracking, the National Weather Service issued a red flag warning, meaning more dry lightning and strong winds were headed their way. Word spread to the crews listening on the BLM radio channel. At 8:24, Buttram radioed McPherson on the Kuna channel, asking if Oliver could get some practice driving since, well, things seemed under control. Captain McPherson said no, so Buttram and Oliver continued on to the western edge. But by then, truck 622 had run out of water, so it headed back to the tender on Swan Falls Road to refill. It was believed Buttram and Oliver, in truck 620, would follow, but they didn't.
And I seen the first unit coming out, and I looked and I didn't see the other one, and I asked the first guys, I said, where's the other guys? Oh, they're coming. Oh, that's not what I said. So I kind of walked down the road, and the wind in the meantime had picked up, and dust was starting to blow, and I looked out across that fire line, and I'm thinking, boy, I hope they got a good knockdown along that edge, because this could restart just real easily.
Captain McPherson continued north along Swan Falls Road, and he saw Buttram and Oliver driving his direction, across the burned area.
And I will never forget, as I walked down the road, I could see those two guys coming out, and I remember Josh Oliver, he had this big toothy grin smile, like, yeah, we kicked that fire's ass, you know, and I can still remember that clear as if it happened yesterday.
But before he could scold them for not sticking together, McPherson remembers, the storm moved in, and the winds picked up, gusting to 40 and 50 miles an hour out of the south.
Really strong. I mean, you couldn't hardly stand up in it. It was so hard. Immediately, you couldn't hardly see across the street because of the dust and residual smoke from the original burn. But, you know, then all of a sudden you can see the flame out there, and you know, oh no, this is not good.
The fire blew up and escaped the northern perimeter.
When I saw the wind blow, I thought, we're in a lot of trouble here.
Nearby, Jake and his photographer were trying to get video of another fire.
And this superheated air is really, it was like sticking your head in an oven. And it was intense. I mean, you could feel it on your skin. The flame lengths went from 3 and 4 feet high to almost 15 feet. So if you can imagine your living room, 15-foot high flames coming right at us, and we booked and we were running.
They made it to their car and drove away.
And I remember looking out the rearview mirror and seeing the fire curl over the road. We even could see a fire twister. But the whole time I'm hearing on my scanner and on the rig scanner, I'm hearing these guys fight this fire.
What nobody heard, whether it was panic or poor visibility, was why truck 620 inexplicably turned north and left the burned area behind. McPherson says he remembers hearing the truck bouncing along as it picked up speed.
And so they were trying to outrun it, I guess. They must have recognized that the fire was coming behind them, and they were trying to outrun it.
Except truck 620 wasn't going to let them. At 8:49, Buttram got back on the radio. "We're on the north line, Doyle. We got fire coming hard. This thing has died." Truck 620 had stalled about 300 feet from Swan Falls Road.
They think that fire was so hot and moving so fast that it actually took the oxygen out of the air. And being gasoline powered, you have to have air to combust the gasoline.
And you heard them on the radio?
Yeah, they started screaming on the radio that it wasn't going to let us out. I couldn't see them, and I was asking them, "Where are you at?" All they could say was, "It ain't going to let us out of here. This thing is quit. It's not going to let us out."
2 minutes later, Buttram could be heard yelling, "We're surrounded by fire. The truck has been overtaken by fire."
We can't get it started, yelling. And that's a hard one. I can still hear that.
That was the last anyone heard from Buttram and Oliver in truck 620.
And it wasn't but just a few seconds. I heard the wind-up siren on the old truck. She went and held there for 30 seconds maybe, and then it just went click, like you shut it off.
But that wasn't the end of the firefight.
You know, I knew in the back of my mind that we'd lost 2 guys and a unit, but I had all these other people's lives that were right here in my hands now that I have to worry about. I can't help these guys anymore. I've got to worry about keeping all these other people out here and their property safe.
That's not to say a rescue effort wasn't underway. It would just be a bit. By 9:21, CUNA Fire Captain Joe Steer made it to Truck 620, and it was still on fire.
And Captain Steer radioed back. He says, "I've located the 2 firefighters," and I said, "Status?" And he said, "In it." You know, ever have your heart feel like it was up here? That's what that moment felt like.
In just 4 minutes' time, the point fire went from mop-up duty to fatal.
News of the tragedy traveled fast. At the CUNA fire station, the mood was quiet, reverent, even stunned.
And the whole mood of the whole place collapsed. It's tough. Yeah.
But for many, there was no time to reflect. Fire bosses used every resource they had, but it still wasn't enough.
By Saturday, 10,000 acres had burned.
We literally chased it till it ran out of something to burn.
We have come today to celebrate the lives and the victories of 2 men.
The funeral for Bill Buttram and Josh Oliver would follow a few days later, but so would the fallout. CUNA Fire Chief Richard Cromwell would lose his job that November. And the next day, commissioners would admit it was because of what happened that night in July. However, the tragedy would also lead to other changes. Better communication, better equipment, and better training would be the professional legacy of the point fire.
Just the wall of fire that hit them, you know, was just unimaginable.
But the personal one may be just as significant.
It was a waste of life. Total waste. But if I told them guys once, I told them 4 times, stay together. And they didn't. It was too bad. It just shouldn't have happened.